Question number 1. If P denotes a man is happy, Q denotes a man is rich, then the statement, if a man is not happy, then he is not rich is written as. Now a very simple MCQ. This is in the form if then, so that is clearly conditional statement. Okay. First part is a man is not happy, which is the negation of P. Okay. Then he is not rich, so he is not rich is the negation of Q. So the symbolic representation of the given statement is negation P implies negation Q, that is option A. Okay, now for practice you may write the compound propositions in options B, C and D in the verbal form. Okay, but otherwise this MCQ is very straightforward. Question 2. Let H denote the set of holidays. Let S denote the set of Sundays and let U denote the set of all days. Okay, then the Venn diagram of the statement every Sunday implies holiday is. Okay, so the given proposition is every Sunday implies holiday. See, that means if you consider the set of Sundays, okay, it is going to be a subset of set of holidays. Okay, but the other thing or the converse need not necessarily be true. That means the set of holidays need not always be a subset of set of Sundays. For example, we may have a holiday on Wednesday, let's say for some occasion or for some festival. Okay, so if the universal set is the set of all days, let this rectangle be the universal set. Okay, then the set of Sundays must be a subset of holidays. So let this be the set of holidays H. Okay, now because every Sunday is a holiday, the set of Sundays must be a subset of set of holidays. Okay, which means we should pick that option where the set of Sundays is a subset of set of holidays. Okay, so that is option C. Okay, now if we were to interpret the other three options, okay, option A, B and D, then how would we go about doing that? Let's start with option D. So in option D you can see that the set of holidays and the set of Sundays, they are disjoint sets. Okay, so their intersection is a null set. So you can say that no Sunday is a holiday, okay, or no holiday is a Sunday. Then if you were to interpret the Venn diagram in B, then you would say every holiday is a Sunday. Okay, because in the Venn diagram B, the set of holidays is a subset of the set of Sundays. Okay, and in option A, if you were to interpret option A, then you can say that some Sundays are holidays. Because there is a non-empty intersection of the sets H and S. Okay, but at the same time, none of them, or I should say this, S minus H is also not a null set, and so is h minus s. Okay, so their union, well, one of them is not completely a subset of the other one. Okay, unlike B and C. So as far as the question is concerned, we picked option C, but we also made meaningful interpretations and useful interpretations of the other three options, and the simplest one was option D because the sets H and S were disjunct. Question 3. Which of the following is not a statement in logic? First, Earth is a planet. It is a statement with truth value T. Plants are living objects. Yes, truth value T. And we have scientific evidence for that. Root of -3 is a rational number. It is a statement, but its truth value is false. Okay, because it is an imaginary number. It's not a real number. So if first three are propositions or statements, then the fourth option, that is whatever that is definitely not a statement. Okay, well, that's what we can conclude by analyzing the first three. So tentatively option D is right, but now we need to verify that. Okay, now we have x squared minus 5x plus 6, okay, as the function. And can we factorize it? Yes, we can. So it is x into x minus 2 minus 3 into x minus 2. So it is x minus 3 into x minus 2. If we consider any value of x which is or which belongs to the set of negative real numbers, okay, that means in the interval minus infinity comma 0. Okay, what will x minus 3 be? Will it be negative? Yes, because x is negative. And what about x minus 2? Will it also be negative? Yes. Therefore, if we consider the product of these two, okay, then it's going to be a negative number into another negative number. Yes. So if it is negative into negative, so it must be positive, which means it is greater than 0. Okay, see, now this implies that for all x belonging to the set of negative real numbers, f of x is positive. Okay, now this is something which is indicating that even 4 is a statement, okay, with truth value false. So we can actually check, we can verify our result graphically now, but for this MCQ, for this particular MCQ, none of the options is right because all are statements. Okay, so we'll quickly check for x squared minus 5x plus 6. And see, now this is the graph of x squared minus 5x plus 6. And if we just consider the values of x which are negative, okay, then you will just see this particular part of the actual parabola, okay, of x squared minus 5x plus 6, which means everything there is greater than 5. So there is no question of that particular function being less than 0 for negative real numbers. Okay, so our fourth statement is our fourth sentence is a statement with truth value false. So none of the options is right. If such a question comes in the examination, then all the students who have attempted that question are given full marks, or even those who don't attempt it, okay, simply because they got confused. Okay, so if such question comes in your examination, then it is a good sign. Your 2 marks are reserved or fixed. Next, negation of the biconditional is tautology, contradiction, neither A nor B, either A or B. See, now if you know the truth table or truth column of the biconditional, then you know that it has two T's and two F's. Okay, so this is neither a tautology nor a contradiction, it is a contingency. Which means if you know what the truth column of P implies and is implied by Q, or P if and only if Q looks like, then you can directly say that it is neither A nor B. Why? Because if you take negation of that, then these T's will get converted to F's and these F's will get converted to T's. So by that argument, we can definitely say that negation of P if and only if Q is neither a tautology nor a contradiction. Okay. Now, why is this helpful? You can also solve the same problem by constructing the truth columns or truth tables, I should say. But this is going to take time. Right, you will first write down the atomic or simple propositions columns, then you will go for P if and only if Q, and after that you will construct this. Okay, so this will take some time. But if you have the truth column of P if and only if Q in your mind, and if you know it correctly, then you can easily mark option C without any hesitation, and that will hardly take 5 or 10 seconds. Okay, and in examinations like CET, where time plays a very crucial role, such small things are going to help you. Okay, so this particular question, I guess it is question 4. Yes, option is C. Okay, this is our question 5. A similar one, we have negation of P and Q implies negation P or Q. Okay, now you can solve this problem or this MCQ with the help of the truth table. Okay, but what I want you to take a note of is that you can also solve this by simplifying this particular compound proposition or compound statement. Okay, first we recall the conditional law. P implies Q is negation P or Q. Okay, and because we have its negation here, negation of P implies Q will be equivalent to the negation of this. Now apply the De Morgan's law. So this will be negation of negation P and negation of Q. Okay, so negation of negation P is P. By De Morgan's law, this OR becomes and negation goes to Q. Okay, so P and negation Q, which means our compound proposition is logically equivalent to the first proposition and the negation of the second proposition. Okay, first proposition and negation of the second proposition. Now apply the De Morgan's law once again. Okay, so it is P and Q and negation of negation P is P and OR becomes and negation Q. Okay, so we now have P and Q and negation Q, right? So irrespective of the truth value of P, okay, by the associative law we can say that this is P and Q and negation Q is a fallacy, and P and fallacy is a fallacy. Okay, so that is a contradiction. So by knowing these laws, we can simplify the given compound proposition and arrive at the correct result. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll verify our result with the help of truth tables. In the examination there is no need to verify, okay, because time plays an important role. So we will have PQ negation P, then P and Q negation P or Q, and then P and Q implies that. Okay, so let's call this as alpha and this as beta. So this is alpha implies beta. Now if alpha implies beta contains all T's, its negation will contain all F's. Okay, so let's start completing the truth table. Negation P will be FFTT, P and Q, T, F, F, f negation p or q t f t t. Okay, yes, and alpha implies beta, t t t t. Okay, now whenever in implication the second proposition is true, it must be true. So t t t, and in this case both are false, so it must be true. Okay, so alpha implies beta is a tautology, so its negation must be a fallacy, and that's what we have got here. Okay, so our answer is correct. That is, it is a contradiction. Now if they had not given this negation, then it would have become a tautology. Okay, question 6. The negation of the statement he is rich, let's call it P, and happy. So he is happy, let's call it Q, and we have been asked to find its negation. So by De Morgan's law, it is negation P or negation Q, right? So the correct option is he is not rich or not happy. He is not rich or not happy, so option B. Okay, now let's also write down the symbolic representations of the other options. Let's start with A. He is not rich and not happy. So this is negation P and negation Q, which is negation of P or Q, right? C is the given proposition itself, and D is he is not rich and happy. So it should have been he is not rich but happy. Instead of and but would have been more appropriate there, because usually we associate happiness with being rich, right? So he is not rich means negation P, and happy is and Q, which is definitely not the negation of he is rich and happy. So question 6, option B. Question 7. Some triangles are not isosceles. Okay, identify the Venn diagram. So in this figure it appears that U is the universal set, let's say of polygons. T appears to be the set of triangles, and I appears to be the set of isosceles triangles. Okay, now we know that when we say isosceles triangle, it has to be a subset of the set of triangles. Okay, now let's start analyzing option A. In option A, the set of isosceles triangles is a proper subset of the set of triangles, right? Yes. Well, I guess they have highlighted the region, right? Yeah, so the highlighted region is actually telling us that all isosceles triangles are triangles. Okay, well that's not what we want. Some triangles are not isosceles. Let's go to option B. See, even in option B, we have got this correct representation, that is I is a subset of T, proper subset of T. But here look at the highlighted region. Highlighted region, that is the hatched region here, it excludes all isosceles triangles, but it still considers the remaining triangles. Okay, so this is the correct representation. There are some triangles which are not isosceles. Okay, so the correct option is B. So although A and B represent one and the same Venn diagram, depending on what region you have, okay, the interpretation changes. So you may say that T minus I is not a null set. Okay, so T minus I is what we want here. These are the triangles which aren't isosceles, right? And that is the region shown in the hatched color. which I'm highlighting by the pink color. Okay, this one. If you go to option C, it would mean no isosceles triangle is a triangle. Now that's definitely a fallacy, right? And if you go to D, then see, now this can be interpreted as some triangles, or I should say some isosceles triangles are triangles. Okay, so some of them are not. Right, but the thing about option D is this. If you look at this region, okay, then this actually does not belong to T, right? But that is false, because if you consider any isosceles triangle, it must be it must be a triangle. Okay, so option D is not right, it is option B. And the correct interpretation of the Venn diagram in option D would be some isosceles triangles are triangles. म्हणजे हे let me show it in the green color now, this one. Okay, but there are some isosceles triangles which are not triangles, and that is false. Okay, so it is option B. Question 8. Which of the following statements has the truth value f? Option A. A quadratic equation always has a real root. Okay, now clearly this is a proposition which is false. Because if you consider the quadratic equation x squared plus 1 equal to 0, then its roots are not real. Okay, now we have got the option A to be the correct option because it has the truth value false, and because in CET only one option is the right one, it must be option A. Okay, but every MCQ will tell you something, even you solve it correctly, regarding the other options. Okay, so because we have got option A to be the one which has the truth value false, the other two statements must be true. So let's read them and come to the correct conclusion. Okay, that may reveal something else. Let's go to option C. Now the option C says that the cube roots of unity or 1 are in geometric progression, and this is a very well known standard result from complex numbers. The first cube root of unity is 1, of course. We denote the second cube root by omega, which is in the second quadrant on the Argand diagram. So it is minus 1 by 2 plus root 3 by 2i, and the third one is actually the square of this. It's minus root 3 by 2i. Okay, so clearly they are in the geometric progression because omega upon 1 is omega, and omega squared upon omega is also omega. Okay, so a question may come, which of the following has the truth value f or has truth value t, and if this proposition comes in the options, then you should be in a position to correctly select its truth value, which is t. Okay, let's go to B now. The number of ways of sitting 2 persons in 2 chairs out of n persons is np2. Well, we know that. Okay, if these are the 2 chairs, let's call them C1 and C2. Then we have n persons, so this is going to be n. There are n different ways in which we can make this chair occupied, and if one person sits there, then for the chair C2 we have n minus 1 persons, okay, or options. So the total number of ways is n into n minus 1, okay, which is nothing but n factorial upon 2 factorial, right? Oh, sorry, not 2 factorial, sorry. N factorial upon n minus 2 factorial, which is np2. Okay, yes, so that is option B. Well, that is option B, whose truth value is t. So the proposition B is coming from the chapter permutations and combinations. Proposition C came from sequences and series, and proposition A is from, well, quadratic equations theory. Okay. Question 9. The dual of the statement P or negation Q and negation P is. Now the principle of duality says replace and by or by and, tautologies by fallacies or contradictions, and fallacies by tautologies. So it says keep negations as they are. Don't touch the negations. And that's the key point here. Many students actually even negate the statements, but that's not the right way to write the dual. Okay. So it will be P and negation Q. Okay. Or negation P. Okay. P and negation Q is in option B, or negation P. Yes. So that is option B. Okay. So please keep the principle of duality in your mind, what it says and what it does not say. It doesn't say change the negations. Okay, so question 9, option B. Let's go to question 10. For the circuit shown below, the Boolean polynomial is. Now the Boolean polynomial means the corresponding proposition. Now here they are not denoting the switches by S1 and S2, they are directly using negations. Okay. So because we have a parallel combination here, we must write OR, and we have only 2 branches, so this is enough. Now what is the arrangement in the first branch? It is a conjunction of 2 things, negation P and Q, right? And what about the second one? It is a conjunction of P and negation Q. Yes, so that is the Boolean polynomial, negation P and Q, which is present in options B and D. Okay, but see, in option B it has AND here. Okay, so that AND is clearly indicating that these 2 combinations are in series, but that's not the case. Okay, furthermore, here you have Q, but in the circuit you have negation Q. Okay, so B is not right, so it must be option D, negation P and Q, yes, or yes, P and negation Q, yes. So the correct option is D. Question 11. Dual of x prime or y prime prime equal to x and y is. Now this prime means negation. Okay. Now as we discussed in one of our earlier problems, the principle of duality does not allow us to write or to change the negations. Okay. So its dual is going to be x prime and y prime's negation equal to x or y. Okay, so this is basically the De Morgan's law, and C is not right because it has x and y, and A is not right because they have not changed this disjunction. Okay, it should have been conjunction, so it is x prime and y prime prime equal to x or y, option B, correct. Question 12. Negation of the conditional if it rains I shall go to school is. Okay, now some people don't understand how to write negation of the conditional statement. Okay, but to write the negation you should first know that P implies Q's equivalent representation using the conjunction, disjunction and negation. The first 3 logical connectives is negation P or Q. Okay, and once you know this, which we call the conditional law, then you can easily write the negation of that. Okay, so negation of P implies Q is now going to be negation of negation P or Q. Okay, now use the De Morgan's law. So it will be negation of negation P and negation of the second one, that is negation Q. So its negation is P and negation Q, which means it rains and I shall not go to school. Okay, according to rules, let's not write the exclamation mark. Okay, so if it rains and I shall not go to school, that is option B. One of the reasons that we used to give if we wanted to bunk the school, right? If it rains, I shall not go to school. Yeah, okay, fine. Yes, so that is question 12. Let me repeat that we have used the conditional law here. And De Morgan's law. Okay, and we have also used negation of negation P is P. So we have used these three laws to simplify the negation of the to actually first convert the conditional into a disjunction, and then we have just followed the standard process using the laws. We reached this P and negation Q, and then we appropriately chose the correct option. Question 13. Negation of negation P implies Q is. Okay, now this question is also based on the conditional law. Okay, so the conditional law says that P implies Q is logically equivalent to negation P or Q. Okay, but here we don't have negation, here we don't have P implies Q, here we have negation P implies Q. Okay, so it must be P or Q. Okay, so we always take the negation of the first proposition. So if it is negation P, then its negation is going to be P. But we want negation of our compound proposition. So it must be negation of P or Q. By De Morgan's law, it will be negation P and negation Q. Negation P and negation Q is option C. Okay, pretty simple. Question 14. Simplify the following circuit and find the Boolean polynomial. Boolean polynomial means the statement or proposition representation of the given arrangement of switches. Okay, so here we have PQR. First is P or Q, right? Then we have a series arrangement here, so we must write and then again we have a parallel arrangement of the switches P and R, so P or R. Okay, now this is an example of distributive law. Okay, so if you apply the distributive law, it will be P or Q and R. So it's P or Q and P or R by distributive law. Okay, so do we have that option P or Q and R? P or Q and R, yes, that is option A. Okay, another very simple MCQ, but you should know the laws, that's it. If you know how to apply them, then this question will not even take 15 seconds. Okay, fine. And as a practice, you may draw the circuits representing the other three options. Okay, well, option C is pretty clear now. P or Q or R, that means all three switches will be in parallel. Okay, and option D, P and Q and R by the associative law means all switches are in series. And P and Q or R would mean P here and then and Q or R, so Q there and R there. Okay, so that will help you practice such sums. Question 15. Simplify P or Q and P or negation Q. So this again appears to be a problem on distributive law, right? Because you have the same proposition here, okay, and you have a conjunction. Okay, so what will it be? By the distributive law, it will be P or Q and negation Q by distributive law. Okay, Now what is Q and negation Q? Q and negation Q is always a fallacy or a contradiction, and fallacy or any atomic proposition is the proposition itself. So the simplified version of the given proposition is P, that is option A. Now you may solve this problem by truth tables, but if you know the laws, then obviously you will reach the destination quickly. Okay, but let's just do that. PQ will be TTFF, TFTF, and I guess we need negation Q, so FT, FT. Okay, now P or Q. P or Q will be TTTF, and P or negation Q will be TTFT. Yes. And now we want the conjunction of these two, alpha and beta. So it will be TT and FF, because here you have F and there you have this F. Okay, so TT FF, that is the same as the column, the truth column of P. Okay, so alpha and beta is logically equivalent to P, the same result that we obtained by using the laws. Okay, so A.